Well, we begin with breaking news out of Libya. The UN-recognised government says it will accept an offer of military support from Turkey. The Tripoli-based administration is fighting an offensive by warlord Khalifa Haftar, whose forces are trying to capture the capital. Schools in the southern district of Abu Salim in Tripoli have now been suspended. The municipality says it's because of sporadic fighting and shelling by Haftar's forces. Now, we have three reporters in three countries crucial to this story. Step Vassin is standing by in Moscow. Mohammed Ado is in Istanbul. But first, let's go to Mahmoud Abdul Wahid, who is in Tripoli. Mahmoud, what's the latest on these developments? What more can you tell us?
Well, Hala, this meeting is crucial by the GNA, the Government of National Accord, which met with military commanders belonging to the Volcano of Wrath operation, the counter-military offensive to defend the capital, Tripoli, against Haftar's forces. And the government says it's now being entitled to demand military assistance from Turkey. That is by virtue of the military and security agreement or memorandum of understanding that was sealed between the UN-recognized Libyan Prime Minister Fayez Sarraj and the Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan the last month. Now, government sources say that not only Turkey is going to be demanded to send weapons to the GNA, but also they have asked three other countries, the United States, Britain, and Italy, for military assistance. And when we asked the government sources why especially these three countries, they said that for two main reasons. First of all, to guarantee extra assistance, military assistance, if the three countries agree to send military and logistical support to the GNA. And second, to guarantee that the three countries will not object on the Turkish military assistance to the GNA, the Government of National Accord. Also, this step, as you know, that is a kind of reaction to the Russian, as the GNA calls it, Russian intervention in Libya, especially supporting the warlord Khalifa Haftar. As you know, about 1,000 Russian military individuals or mercenaries are fighting for the warlord Khalifa Haftar, trying to support or help his forces get into the capital's city center. That's according to government officials. They say that about 1,000 Russian mercenaries are now fighting for the warlord Khalifa Haftar. That's along with other African mercenaries from Chad and from Sudan also supporting the warlord Khalifa Haftar. When we asked the government officials why they have now decided to put this agreement, the military agreement with Turkey, in place, they say that Haftar's forces have been supported by several regional powers, including Egypt, the United Arab Emirates, and Jordan. They say that Haftar's forces have been receiving advanced weapons from the United Arab Emirates for the past 4 years, including fighter jets and advanced drones. And also the battles, including the battle to control Tripoli by Haftar's forces, have been run by Russian, Emirati, and Egyptian military experts. That's again according to the GNA, the Government of National Accord. So it is expected that the coming few weeks will witness escalation in southern Tripoli. And meanwhile, the fight or the war, Hala, has been taking a heavy toll on civilians. As you know, that hundreds of civilians have been killed or wounded by random rockets or airstrikes by Haftar's fighter jets, and about 130,000 people have been displaced from their homes because of the fighting. And also, today, schools in Abu Salim, a densely populated area near the city center, has suspended work in the schools because, as they say, of the deteriorating situation around Abu Salim neighborhood.
Okay, Mahmoud Abdul Wahid bringing us the latest from Tripoli. Thank you very much. Turkey, of course, a big part of this story. Let's cross to Mohammed Ado. He's live for us in Istanbul. Mohammed, what have we been hearing out of Turkey? This puts the Turkish government at odds, really, with its one-time ally, Russia.
Yes, indeed. And they seem not to be reading from the same hymn sheet when it comes to the situation of Libya. But it will be a while before we see Turkish troops on the ground in Libya, because there is a whole process involved. Right now, that military agreement between Tripoli and Ankara is going through Parliament. It just passed and got the approval of the Foreign Affairs Committee in Parliament. Next Wednesday, it's going for a vote in Parliament. There is a lot of opposition to it, but it's expected to sail through. And once that agreement between Tripoli and Ankara is ratified by Parliament, everything will be hinged on a formal request from the GNA in Tripoli, that's the Libyan government in Tripoli, to ask formally for the deployment of the troops. And then that has to go back to Parliament for a vote. And it's only after Parliament gives its mandate on not only troop numbers, but also what the work that they will be doing in Tripoli, that they would be allowed to be deployed.
OK, Mohammed Ado, live for us there in Istanbul. Thank you. Well, Russia's President Vladimir Putin has spoken about the conflicts in Libya during his yearly wide-ranging media conference. Let's go live to Step Vasson, who's in Moscow for us. Step, did the Russian president address the situation in Libya at all during that lengthy press conference?
It was lengthy indeed. It was more than 4 hours. President Putin addressed the questions of journalists. And there was this one question by a Turkish journalist who asked him directly, is Russia backing Haftar's troops? And he said, do you believe everything Western media are reporting? And he said, no, we are basically in touch with both sides. We're in touch with the government forces and with Haftar. He's been on the phone with Emmanuel Macron and also with Angela Merkel to discuss the situation in Libya. And in the next coming days, a delegation from Turkey will arrive here in Moscow. And he hopes that all these conversations, and specifically this dialogue with the Turkish delegation, could lead to some kind of peaceful settlement, or at least the start of a dialogue to find a solution to the ongoing violence in Libya. That's basically what he said during the presser. But of course, we have to remember that there are hundreds and maybe 1,000 mercenaries fighting on the side of Haftar, has been said earlier. And of course, there's a lot of questions about what are the exact objectives. There are, of course, speculations about the business side of the conflict, the oil resources that Libya has. But also, it shows that that Russia, like it has been doing in Syria, always likes to support the strongman. It has been able to keep Assad in power. And it's also believed that Haftar is also seen by Russia as this kind of a strongman that Russia can do business with.
Step Vasson there, live for us in Moscow. Thank you.